couple of
Trouble hearing.
corrections, typos in the packet, so you have those on the table, and you also have some questions that were presented. I sent it by email today, and that's a printed document of it. Other than that, I don't think we have anything else for the agenda. Is that correct?
Yes.
So we move on to the corrections of the minutes. Are there any corrections to the minutes of the June 17th meeting?
Seeing none.
Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the minutes from June 17th signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? Thank you. At this point in time, we have a presentation from the Planning Commission, the Genesee County Metropolitan Planning Commission. It's on the Michigan Home presentation. It's Nicole Odette is here from the Planning Commission. Thank you for being here this evening.
Hi, thank you for letting me be here tonight. I am Nicole Odette from the Genesee County Planning Commission. I just want to take a couple minutes of your time and tell you about 2 home repair programs that we do offer to Genesee County residents. The first, we have a home improvement program. You may have already heard of it. We've been administering this program for over 40 years. So we go into homes, we look at the entire home, roof down to basement. We're looking for code issues, health and safety issues. We follow HUD housing standards. So some of the repairs that we do could range from roofing, windows, insulation, doors, plumbing. It could be smoke detectors. Once we leave a home and repair it, we just have to make sure that it's safe, sanitary, and decent. The second program is our urgent repair program. We created that just a couple of years ago. We felt there was a need in the county for more of a spot repair program. So the urgent repair program covers some of the bigger, more costly repairs. It only covers roofs, well or water hookup, septic systems, and furnaces. So just those components. Eligibility for our repair programs is based primarily on the household income. You may have seen the HUD low to moderate income maps. We don't have to use those maps. We work across the entire county, except for the city of Flint, Clio, Lennon, and Otter Lake. There are some income charts in your packets there. HUD releases new income limits every year. They did go up again this year. So a one-person household can earn up to $44,600 a year and be eligible for our programs. A 4-person household can have an annual income of $63,700 a year and be eligible. So I think the income limits are pretty good. Some of the other eligibility requirements are the homeowners must have lived in their home and owned their home for a year. Property taxes, mortgage payments, and insurance must be current. Unfortunately, we do not work on rental properties within manufactured home communities or on trailer homes. In order to apply, applicants can go onto our website. We have an online application. If they don't have a computer, maybe not really computer savvy, that's fine. They can call our office. We do have a paper application that we can send out. If their application is approved, they will sign a deferred payment loan with the county, and so that means never any interest, never any payments. Repayment of the loan does vary based on household income level and the age of the applicant, so it varies. The maximum amount that we can spend on each household is $24,999. We do pay the contractors directly. It's not a cash loan to the homeowner. The contractors that we work with are all licensed and insured. Some of them we've been working with for many, many years now. And I just want to say that last year we completed 45 projects, totaling over $752,000 that was paid out to local contractors. I did look back in the records, and over the last 14 years, we have completed 54 projects in the township. So that's pretty good. So I brought some flyers. I left them out there. If you have any questions, please feel free to ask. Send your residents our way. We have annual funding from HUD. This is a program that works 12 months a year. So we are here to help.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Does
You're
anybody
welcome.
have any questions for Nicole? No? That was a good presentation, and thanks for leaving the information
Yep, I left
in the
it out.
lobby.
All right, thank you.
Appreciate it. Thank you very much. Let's see, next we move on to public comment. If you'd like to address the board, I'd ask that you'd come to the podium. You'll be given 4 minutes to address the board. We need your name, but we do not need your address.
Good evening, Mark White. I just wanted to point out canceling a scheduled special hearing meeting is not the same as nullifying or voiding or withdrawing the original motion. Thank you.
I don't know what that
My name is Margaret Baumann. My husband and I have lived for 38 years on West Court Street between Graham and Linden Roads. We're the head of the neighborhood watch, and we didn't form the watch because of crime in the neighborhood, but because of the activity of the apartments across from us managed by Elite Management. For over a year, we have dealt with a prostitute with special needs children and drug dealers that have been evicted. But last year, Brenda at 4161 in the front apartment moved in. Life has not been normal since then. She has thrown her garbage in the ditch until Mark from the township here finally confronted her, and police have been called way too many times. She's macing people, she's very foul-mouthed, and she's referred in our neighborhood by Elite Management, by the township, by all of us as Crazy Lady. Everybody knows who Crazy Lady is. More recently, she has duct taped the front of her apartment. It looks like she is spraying for an infestation. And we have repeatedly called Elite Management. We have sent pictures. If you drive down there, you can see what she looks like. She's the front apartment. We're getting nowhere. It's always something new every time we call. It's someone new every time we call. They told us and Mark that they were evicting her last winter. Last Tuesday, and this may sound silly, but it's not. There was a 6-point buck hit in the front of our next door neighbor's yard, and when we contacted the police at Flint Township, we were told that they're not picking up roadkill anymore. It's to decompose. Well, it's a neighborhood. We all have nice homes. We have pools. We don't want a deer decomposing. We were on the way to Atlanta to my husband's sister's funeral, so we called Flint Township, and that's what we were told. My husband asked at the time, can I hook up to the deer, pull it up the hill when I get back, and where there are no other houses, and drop it off? Can I pick it up with a four-wheeler? And the police officer said, yes, you can do that. Well, while we were gone, that deer traveled. The woman across the street, Crazy Lady, took the deer. I don't know why. Those people were dealing with it as well. They called animal control. They were told at the time, or not animal control, but the road commission, that no, they were busy. They wouldn't be picking it up either. So she drug it into their driveway. And so the woman came home at 10:30 at night and almost wrecked her car, hitting that deer. So her husband was furious, drug the deer across the road, and then she, the next night, drug it back. We thought it was funny at first when we were driving through Atlanta trying to figure out how to get home. But it's not funny because she could have been really hurt. And this has gone on for too long. She is mental. She has a real problem. We have dealt with Elite Management over and over and over again. And my husband took care of the deer. But she came out afterwards and was harassing, and I was harassing back. It's escalated, and someone's going to get hurt. We need help. We have dealt with Elite Management over and over and over again, and we're getting nowhere. And we were told today, well, she's belligerent when she pays her bills, and they said, oh, she's got more money than you do. Well, she drives a vehicle that's full of garbage. I don't know why she can drive it. I don't know why it's not pulled over. But I don't care as long as she leaves everybody alone, but she won't. And we're tired. We don't know what to do. This is escalating. Our neighbor was going to take that deer and throw it on her front porch. It's getting to the point where we don't know what else to do. Do we get a hold of an attorney? We just need help.
Yes, we'll have to get back with you. Does Mark have your
Yes.
phone number?
We've talked to Mark many times. He's been very helpful. It's just we don't know what else to do.
We'll give you a call, Margaret.
Thank you.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
Hi, I'm Chad McCarty, owner of R1 Consulting and real estate developer and investor. We've got a first reading tonight with you guys on, I think you call it the Westminster development. We've made some changes and would like to request the board give some consideration to kick this back to planning again. We want to change the zoning request from industrial to commercial 3. And we've also had we've made significant progress with the community on gaining support. We've got a petition signed by 38 homeowners in that area that are most impacted. But before you consider the bump back to planning, I would like to give Matthew Williams, a representative from General Motors, here just a minute to talk and approach the board as well.
If he wants to talk now, he can do that. It's limited to 4 minutes, or he can wait till the action items on the agenda to do so.
Okay.
That sound okay?
It won't, either way, it won't take him 4 minutes.
Go ahead.
Hello, Supervisor Miller and members of the board. My name is Matthew Williams and I work for General Motors, representing the outbound logistics team, which is responsible for shipping our finished vehicles to their final destinations. First, I would like to take a moment to thank the township and the Greater Flint area for being such a great partner with GM through the years. I wanted to speak to you this evening to give you some clarity to the reason for the request to change the zoning on this property. This property will be used to support the $1 billion long-term investment GM recently announced, with the purpose and mission of consolidating all of our off-site yards into one cost-effective and efficient yard to support our operations at the Flint Assembly Plant. This investment and supporting development project will not only have a positive impact on the surrounding area, but will also support a harmonious relationship between GM, the township, and its residents for the foreseeable future. We recognize the purpose of tonight's meeting is to refer this project for consideration to the Flint Township Planning Commission. We greatly appreciate this positive step in advancing us through the process, and we look forward to engaging all township officials to better educate them on the great value this project will bring to the area. Thank you again for your consideration and assistance in shepherding this forward. We look forward to working with you openly and transparently.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board?
Hello, my name is Sandra Roberts. My family has lived in the township since the 1960s, and I'm here for help. That's really all it is. I currently have a neighbor that has a dog that I'm sure the police officers know about. This dog is a violent dog. It has killed 2 cats and a dog that we know of so far. When she was arrested the night that the dog was killed, I have no idea what for, but she was then taken to Ohio. The reason I'm here is because Saturday, the dog got out again. I don't know why she still has this dog, as it's been proven to be so violent and killing other animals, but it got out again Saturday. I have a Sheltie. If anyone knows what a Sheltie is, it's a small, it looks like it's just a small dog, but I also have a toy Yorkie. I was in my backyard, and this dog came and attacked my dog. My dog is fine, but we have to do something about this. I went to the township police department after it happened to ask what should I do, and the woman told me to call 911 and the dog pound. I've tried to call the dog pound many times. I get voicemail. I don't get a call back. I'm afraid to call the police because she's of retaliation is the problem that I'm scared of. I live with my 81-year-old mom and my 2 dogs, and I'm just afraid of retaliation from this woman, and she will not get rid of the dog. She told me her reason was I couldn't shut the gate because my arms were full. That was her excuse. She said, I'll just keep the dog in the motorhome from now on. So when she's not home, the dog is now in a motorhome with no air. That's all I have. I just need help, and I don't know what to do. That's why I'm here. Thank you.
Did you want to give us the street that you live on?
Hogarth. I'm
Hogarth.
sorry. I live on Hogarth Avenue.
Thank you. Are you going to be around till after the meeting?
Yes.
Okay. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
Hi, I'm Tom Gibbons, Flint Township. This is a chicken, a hen, one hen. I'm probably one of the few in this room that
Tom Gibbons.
somebody moved in and had chickens after I lived there 30 years. And of course, they had some roosters, but that was last summer and we couldn't sleep. I called 911. They came out in the front door and said, we can hear the chickens. So I just wanted to reiterate, I learned you guys are considering allowing some chickens at a certain acreage. I think it's 3 acres, last I knew. I just wanted to go over this a little bit again tonight to keep it upfront of what we're talking about here. Common concerns for chickens are disease, noise, odor, pests, waste management. We've had the issue, the Animal Industry Act 466 of 1988 says that poultry is a livestock. So we've got a good ordinance for 10 acres and no chickens in the township. Did a little research, Grand Blanc doesn't allow it. Chickens, Mundy, they address it with a noise ordinance. They call the police actually when there's a complaint on chickens. And I'm concerned, what I experienced, I'm concerned about our students. They need 8 hours of sleep each night. So hens have a 70 decibel level. What I just played is, I measured with another cell phone, 77 decibels is what that is just now. It's the same as, I have another document in here, as a human conversation. So you can imagine somebody standing in your backyard talking, you're gonna hear them with your window open, which is what we do year-round. And the hens, they do this when they lay their eggs or when some other chicken takes their nest area. This needs a public vote, but I think that we ought to slow down and consider the effects of chickens. I look back at some videos. You guys were talking 4 chickens, and you changed it to 6. Thought you were talking about 6. But so please take a look at that video. If our trustees allow chickens, it would be the first in the 45-year Flint Township. And the trustees back then, they knew about this. The bad things about chickens. 500 people that have chickens possibly is 1.5% of. So I think that, we need to consider the people that don't have chickens and what can happen to them if, as we do this. 3 acres, a guy lives across the street, he lives as close as anybody on that. So you need to consider that also, I think. So I think my time's up.
Thank you, Mr. Gibbons.
Thank you very much.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the board?
My name is Gerald Roberts. Live in Flint Township. I've lived in Flint Township for over 50 years. Same residence. I can remember when my consumer's power bill was right around $25 or $30 a month. I can remember when my Comcast bill was about $15 a month. I can remember when a loaf of bread was maybe 60 cents. Candy bars were a nickel back in the 50s. Went into a gas station, the candy bar was $2.69. Same candy bar that was 50 cents. Basically, a nickel. I have to live on a fixed income. I'm 82 years old. I'm a retiree from General Motors. I've saved up enough money, in other words, for me and my wife. But lately, it's been living from paycheck, Social Security check, to pension check. And I got my taxes the other day. And this is gonna be my school taxes with regard to that. They went up a sizable amount. I think in the inflationary rate under the Headley, I'm protected. In other words, because I've lived in the same residence. But if I sold my house tomorrow, the person coming in 1 year, my valuation went up. SEV value close to $24,000, so that would be $50,000 in 1 year. I was given the last rites December of 2019. I'm here by the grace of my Lord Jesus Christ. But I'm not going to be around here much longer. And I got to think about my wife and how she can afford. If she sells her house, she has to move someplace else. She's not protected by the Headley. So she's almost forced to live in the same house that she's in right now because she's protected by the Headley. If she moves out and goes and sells the house and gets a modest house, maybe out in Fenton or Linden or something to that effect, her taxes are gonna double with regard to the house that she's in, based on Genesee County and Flint Township or whatever around here. I don't know what the solution is. I have to live within a budget. I noticed on here, it says Public Safety Feasibility Study. I've been an advocate, and approximately 11 or 12 years ago, we passed a public safety millage. Went on for 10 years, and it was renewed probably about 1.5 years or 2 years ago. $3 million a year for police and fire protection. In that particular budget, the fire department is shortchanged. They need more people. But every time I see somebody come up and they request another person in the police department, now I'm not against police protection, not at all. We have the state police, we have the sheriff's department, and we have Flint Township. But these guys in the fire department are getting shortchanged. I think it's 30-70 is the split on that particular money.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts.
They need
Your
to
time
be
is up. Thank you.
recognized in the budget.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
Madam Supervisor, Madam Clerk, Mr. Treasurer, Trustees, I'm Jerry Preston, and with full disclosure, I am a candidate for Flint Township trustee. On your agenda tonight is a proposal to engage in a public safety services are delivered to the township. It's a proposal that you have before you, and I'd like to urge you to approve the study. Decades ago, when I was last an elected official, a number of communities in the area where I lived instituted public safety officers. Police and firemen were cross-trained. Each could provide both services. The squad cars were replaced with station wagons, that shows you how long ago it was, which contained not only equipment for police patrol, but also personal fire protection and fire suppression equipment. This allowed for improved response times for both the police and fire services because of a public safety officer who was in the vicinity could be rapidly dispatched to the scene of the emergency, be it a police or a fire call. Now, several times the public safety officer arrived to the scene quickly and with fire suppression equipment in the vehicle was able to extinguish the fire before the truck even arrived. Because public safety officers were trained in both disciplines, they also received more pay than they would have received in either as a police or fireman. More recently, many of these communities, with the advent of AED devices and additional training, the AED is also part of the equipment in the public safety vehicle. These triple-trained public safety officers are now trained and available for almost every emergency, providing a significant service to the community. Now, this idea of public safety officers is not new. There may be an even better and more efficient way to provide public safety services for the township. We all know we will know that when the study is complete. I urge you to approve the study so we can learn how we might provide public safety services more effectively to our township. It just makes common sense. Thank you, and I'd be pleased to answer questions if you have any.
Is there anyone else who'd like to address the board?
Hi, Edwin Dean. I live in the Westminster neighborhood. It's actually Van Slyke Manor. Want to just comment on the zoning amendment that is the first agenda of today's item. Just wanted to remind the board that this has gone back to the township zoning board twice and been rejected both times with very minimal changes to their presentation and what they're trying to provide. I don't see the point in going back again to the township zoning for another time for the same objective. People in the neighborhood, while they may say some people have signed petitions for the project, I know there are many people who are against the project, and I question on how some of these petitions were gathered. But that is all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board?
Kevin Stiff, D4020 Corona Road, the dive shop, and also a resident. Just a couple things. I bring this up almost every meeting. I know the board's turned it down, but you know, we worked real hard to get the name change in the township, and the board rejected it. I would like to see that I'd like to see them reconsider it and go from there. I'm not really for the feasibility study. I think that with everything that's going on, I think that the police department went through accreditation, which cost us a lot of money, man hours, and in that accreditation, they should have been able to pick up something out of that they can look at what's going on between the police department, the fire department, and the community. And that was I don't know if people knew, and I couldn't. When I tried to talk to the police chief, the past police chief, he never would give me the hours that it took to get the accreditation. But from my understanding, that it was not just a few hours, but it was in the hundreds of hours. Those are man hours that was in that accreditation. That accreditation did not lower our taxes. It did not lower our insurance. It did not do anything except give our ex-police chief a feather in his hat. As far as I'm concerned, that was an awful lot of money spent to go for something else. So, when you're, I'm not sure how much money you're going to spend for to go over and see what the feasibility study is going to cost us, but there's been way too much money spent without the taxpayers knowing how much money is going down. All too often I've seen the police chief ask the board, I need 2 new cars, I need another policeman, I need this, I need that, and across the board you give it to them. I see the fire department ask for something, barely get what they ask for. I think it's at this point in time that we need to start really looking for the fire department a little more in their direction. And I'm not trying to say just to cut the fire or the police department, but maybe we just need to take a couple of the fire, or the policemen, and we need to look at hiring a few more firemen, you know? I'm just down the street. Most people don't hear the fire engine going out at 10, 11, 12 o'clock at night. And then the other one was the stations having brownouts. So then somebody has to, if they have a fire over on this side of town, got to call for a fire engine all the way from Bristol Road or Flushing Road. I think that the board, I don't understand that you guys, that you're only here for a paycheck to say yes and no. That's it. That's what it seems like. You know, the chicken ordinance has been how long? You know, the marijuana was, how long did they work on that? The name change. Jerry and myself, Trace Tucker, we worked hard on the name change. And it just went down the line. No, right down the line. And you know what? You didn't let the people of the township even vote on it. That's all I got to say. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who would like to address the board?
Good evening. Rosemary Gorky from Flint Township. I live on South Dyewood Drive, and on either side of my subdivision, they are ripping out trees and building. And I understand that there is a wetlands in there now, that they called the, I guess it would be the DNR, to say that there was a wetlands, and I just wondered what is going on with that? Because don't they have to preserve the wetlands?
This isn't a question and answer time, but they are working with the state Eagle
They are?
Department. Environmental Eagle. It used to be DNR, right?
Yeah.
But now it's called Eagle.
Okay,
And they are in compliance with
okay,
that.
good, thank you.
But you might be able to call them and ask them what's going on with that particular location.
Okay, thank you.
Hello, good evening. How y'all doing? I came up to the farmer's market. It was really good. A couple people had already left, but it was not bad.
Keith Powers.
And then another thing is Rite Aid is closing down over here. We need to push really hard to push the 911 in there. That would be perfect. They got the towers there. They just run a couple wires, boom, they're in. We need to push hard to get that.
Considering a few different locations, and that's one of them.
And what the dive shop guy said about not bringing anything to the people for a vote. It is like we're being governed by rulers rather than governance by the people. We need to have these things out there. Flushing just did it. They're asking for input on the chicken thing they have. They allow them, but they want a little more clarity on it. So we need to do that also, get it out to the people. When they come in and pay their bills, here's the paper, fill it out, you know, yes or no, yay or nay. You can do it online, however you want to do it. We need some input from the people. We can't be ruled by just a few elected people for the whole township. That's not how governance works. Correct, Tom? You go to school? And the school thing with chickens, if you're waiting for a chicken to wake you up in the morning, you're already late for the bus, I can tell you that. They catch that bus at 7-something, and most birds I've heard, they don't start squawking till a little after that. That's about it. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address the board? One last time. Anyone else want to speak during the public comment? No. We will close public comment and we'll move on to reports. What I wanted to say about one of the comments that was made today about deer, I go to Roads and Bridges on Tuesday mornings at the Genesee County Road Commission. And the Genesee County Road Commission works with the state Eagle Department and DNR. And they are not having the Road Commission pick up deer just anywhere. If deer are hit in blocking traffic, or if it's on the side of the road, The road commission will pick it up, otherwise they will not do that. The township does not have the ability to pick up deer. We don't have a DPW. We work with the Genesee County Road Commission and we work with the Genesee County Drain Commission, and we don't have the ability to do that. So if you do have an issue with a deer, you can call the township and we'll call it into the road commission, or you can go online and report an issue at gcrc.org. They'll do that. But we can definitely get a message over to the Swartz Creek Garage. That's who services the township for road issues. We can get a message over there, but basically the bottom line is if it's anything smaller than a deer, they won't pick it up. I don't know why they won't pick up anything smaller than a deer, but anyhow, that's their rule. And if you have a question, you could always give them a call or get online, gcrc.org. I think that's all I wanted to say. That's it. Madam Clerk, do you have a report this evening?
So election is going to be August the 6th, of course, you know. We do have early voting starting July 27th through August the 4th here at the township. We have our election inspectors already set and trained. Actually, this room, that's why you see the machines in this room, because we have tested them. We have a public accuracy test tomorrow at 10 o'clock. Anyone is invited to come. And I believe that's it. Thank you.
Oh, there's a board of review for corrections tomorrow. That's at 10 a.m., right?
Yeah, they're both at the same time, yeah.
That'll be interesting.
Yeah.
Mr. Treasurer, do you have a report for us this evening?
The only thing is the controller and I have been working very diligently. Again, I issued some reports the other day. We've got some end-of-the-year reports, if you will. When I say end of the year, end of the 12-month cycle that I have been graciously accepted the position of handling the treasurer, and there's some, there'll be dollar amounts issued out to you in August of what all of the interest has been made. Also, Kevin McIntyre and I worked last week on looking what personal property tax past due has been collected, what interest earned, and I have several numbers, but I don't want to just throw them out at you. We're going to put it all together, so you've got another round of dollars, and it's a very good piece for all of us. Looks good for the township. That'll be it until I ask you to pay the bills.
Question. Where are we on the sweep account?
In place.
It's in place.
It's in place.
When?
Kevin and I were on it today. It's taken, as I mentioned before, Barb, it's taken quite a while to put that in place, and effective today, it's in place.
Right. Thank you. Any other trustee reports? This way, Mr. Leverett?
I just have one.
Oh, we'll start on this end then.
Mr. Leverett, I'm sorry.
Let her go. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, we had a cleanup on Saturday. We had 13 volunteers and 27 bags of trash, and that was on Mansour and Taft. It was good. It was hot, but we got it done. Cleaned all the catch basins, a lot of them. They were pretty plugged. So, it is working. Yeah. That's it.
So, it was a good cleanup, yeah?
Yeah.
Thank you for doing that. Thank you to
Officer Chisa.
Officer Chiza and
Yeah.
to you who organized that, to get the supplies there and have Starbucks there for refreshments and get the volunteers there.
It's good. And we're getting new people.
I know you came over here to the township for the farmer's market, but they closed early.
We did.
I wasn't here. They started the setup at 8. I know they had a couple people who did not come, but it was a good first day, and I know it went well. It was very hot, but I know they closed early. And we will post on the website, and I'm sure you'll see on social media the next dates for the farmer's market.
Madam Supervisor, we are having problems hearing out here. We cannot hear.
Thank you, Mr.
what's
Roberts.
going on up there.
Speak into the microphone.
Speak into the mic.
Thank you, Mr. Roberts. Is that better?
Yes.
It's going to start whistling. All right, do we have any other reports down this way? This way?
Okay. I just thank God for all the people being here today. We're working on some projects that's going to incorporate everyone in the township if they so desire. We'd like to focus on curb appeal for our residents, the businesses,
and everybody can kind of take part in it. We're talking about the lack of money and all this kind of thing for the township, but I think that we need to have a volunteer mindset for what's happening in Flint Township. And if we work together, there's a cliche out that says we are better together. So let's keep that in mind. And I think you all have been doing a great job about some of the cleanup and things that's been thrown out, because I survey the areas all the time, and it looked like we've been paying a little attention, and we didn't have as many trash bags as Trustee Burt just got through saying, as we did the last time. So keep up the good work. Thank you.
Thank you. We'll move on to staff reports. Mrs. Tucker, do you have a report this evening?
Just main one was we had the Planning Commission last week. They did do a recommendation for the zoning request that was there. That'll come before you in August. And then they approved the Flat Rock expansion in Stonebridge, where they're expanding the building that they have there now to another 12-bed area. And then they have a phase 2 where they're building some more buildings back there, so.
Is
We're
it
glad to see they're investing.
Is
No,
that-
Stonebridge over here off Linden Road. Yeah.
Have they been approved for their project over there on Heatherwood?
I think they're still trying to get the county to approve it. I think it was already approved at our level, but that's been almost 2 years at this point. But they're waiting on some stuff at the county with the sewer and water issue, because the line is across the road and then it has to cross one parcel to get to the other parcel, and the county's giving them a hard time about it, so see what happens with that.
So if and when they bring any more group homes here, a group home permit or application, it starts at the state level, is that correct? If
For
it's,
them to get licensed, correct, but for them, for the building itself, they would have to do site plan, and depending on zoning, if they need a special land use, they might have to get a special land use.
and the state changed the number, the maximum number, is it now 7? Do you know? It used to be 6.
Without going to, yeah, without being treated as, it went to 7 from 6. So they can just have 7 without any licensure from anybody, or from us, I mean.
They don't need our approval to do that?
Correct.
And the state issues that, and then they come here for any type of site plan?
Yeah, yeah.
Alrighty. Does that conclude your report this evening?
Yep.
Chief Wangler, do you have a report this evening?
I do, thank you. Since the last board meeting, your police department has responded to over 2,600 calls for service. That includes 1,675 primary calls and 987 backup calls. In addition to these 911 generated calls for service, we've also conducted 193 business checks, 133 residence checks, and actually 551 traffic stops. We've been active in the community with the Office of Highway Safety Planning traffic grant, focusing primarily on speed enforcement. A few highlights from the police department outside of those. Shane Conkle, Officer Shane Conkle, was sworn in on July 8th, 2024. He completed his in-house training and actually began his field training on the road yesterday, on Sunday. A few other highlights. On July 11th, we were contacted to assist Metro PD at the border of our jurisdictions at Miller and Elms. A man had ran from a traffic stop of a stolen vehicle. Inside of that vehicle was a loaded fully automatic pistol, a MAC-10. He was found by our officers and detectives and MSP K-9 running through the backyards alongside Miller Road. Just some notes. It's a neighboring jurisdiction that he was in. This man is a known gang member and also believed to be involved in several shootings in the city of Flint. So it was a good arrest by our officers and detectives. We officially launched National Night Out kickoff last week. That will be August 7th, 2024, 4:30 to 8 at the Flint Township Police Department, 5200 Norco Drive. And then just a few other items of note. On June 26th, we responded to Suncrest for a suicidal individual. This man had allegedly taken a bunch of pills. Prior to our arrival, he armed himself with a knife and left the residence. He was located by our officers after a brief foot chase and was taken to the hospital to receive the treatment that he desperately needs. And then lastly, I'm going to just briefly touch on this. We assisted the fire department. They were on scene of a car fire on June 28th, in which one of their fire engines was struck while on 75 south of Pasadena. Again, we are assisting in this investigation as the driver is believed to was intoxicated at the time, and we're just awaiting the evidence to return on that so we can proceed with the prosecution in that case. And Chief Beckley and I do have a presentation after the reports.
Thank you. Chief Beckley?
Thank you. Since the last board meeting, your fire department has responded to 112 incidents. This does include eight structure fire calls, 1 vehicle fire, and 3 vehicle accidents with entrapments. Right now, to date, we are at 787. I think that's gone up since I did this morning. Calls for service for this year. Year to date, it's about 94 calls ahead of where we were this time last year. A couple of the highlights of the incidents: on June 27th, we responded to a commercial structure fire in the 2700 block of Ridgecliff Drive, which is Hunter's Ridge Apartments. While responding to this call, almost simultaneously, we were dispatched to Sunridge Apartments for a tree that had fallen on a vehicle. Luckily, both incidents there were no injuries. The fire at Hunter's Ridge Apartments was minor, was just a cooking fire. Then our resources were then diverted to Sunridge Apartments, where we were able to get the gentleman out of the car, and luckily he was uninjured. So, again, some of the interesting things that we get called to day to day out there in the community. On the 29th, we responded to a structure fire call in the 2100 block of Walnut Creek Drive. Crews arrived to find black smoke coming from an upstairs window. The fire was quickly extinguished, and one occupant of this residence did sustained severe injuries in this fire, including burns. At last check, he was in critical condition from this incident, and the cause of this fire is under investigation by the Flint Township Fire Department, Police Department, and also the insurance company. On the July 7th, we responded to a structure fire in the 1300 block of Maxon. We arrived to find a garage almost completely involved in fire, which was then spreading into the house. It was an attached garage. The garage was a total loss with extensive damage to the house as well, and the cause of this fire appears to be careless disposal of fireworks. Appears that they were not out completely. Yesterday, we responded to 2 structure fire calls, one at the Kroger right here at Dye and Corona, and then another one in the 1100 block of Ramsgate Road. The one here at Dye and Corona ended up being a freezer door that was having an electrical issue, causing it to smoke, and luckily somebody was able to see that, notified us, and that incident was kept very minor. Again, at Ramsgate, initial calls were for smoke detectors going off and a smell of smoke in the building. Luckily, there was no fire, and it was determined to actually be a faulty detector in that instance. So both good situations there. And just as a follow-up to what Chief Wingler said there, in the early morning hours of June 29th, Flint Township Fire and police crews were dispatched to southbound 75 near Pasadena Avenue for a car on fire. Our first truck arrived on scene, went to investigate the vehicle fire call, while the second truck, as is our policy and best practice, blocked traffic behind this incident to protect the responders on scene. A few minutes later, a vehicle traveling southbound crashed into our fire truck that was blocking traffic to protect this incident. Luckily, this truck was properly placed and did its job and protected the fire and police personnel on scene. The Flint Township Police Department did a great job in stopping this vehicle and handling that driver. Unfortunately, our ladder truck was the truck that was hit in this instance, and did sustain damage to 2 compartments on the driver's side of the truck. We are currently working with the insurance company to get this truck repaired. Just today, we were able to get the claim approved, and we were able to complete some temporary repairs, including replacing a tire that had a cut in it to get that truck operational again, and hopefully within the next few days, it will be operational in an as-needed basis until complete repairs are able to be done. So if you see it, it's not going to look as good as it usually does here, probably for the next few months until that repair process is completed. But luckily, there were no injuries to fire or police personnel on scene. I just want to reiterate that truck did its job, and good job to the firefighter operating it for having it in the right spot to protect those people on scene. A couple other updates. July 1st, we received a $500 donation from Phantom Fireworks, which we are planning on putting towards fire prevention activities within our community. So we just want to thank them for that. A reminder, I'm sure some have seen on Facebook, we're starting our hiring process for this fall's the Fire Academy. We still have some time if anyone is interested in that. We are still taking applications. The academy starts the first week of October. So we are still looking for a few good men, women, to come in and join our ranks. Again, all of the training, equipment, and all of that stuff is all paid for, and you will be paid to attend that academy. So if you know of anyone that may be interested, please have them give us a call, reach out, stop in. We are definitely looking for some help. So just want to touch on one more thing. Our fire equipment millage is on the ballot in August here, and just kind of want to fill everybody in as to what that millage does. That millage is our primary funding source when it comes to equipment in the fire department. We purchase very little equipment in the fire department out of general fund or the public safety millage. Anything from fire trucks to our gear that we wear, which is about $5,000 a set and has to be replaced every 10 years, to the axes that we have on trucks, thermal imaging cameras, jaws of life tools, you name it. We basically buy our equipment out of that. We all know since COVID that pricing has gone up a lot in our everyday lives, and just want to reiterate that millage is vital to our fire department being able to operate and being able to have the most up-to-date and adequate equipment to protect the community. And
Brett,
yes,
that's a .25 mils, right?
it is. Yes,
And that's a renewal, right?
it is. Yes,
Okay.
yep. It's a renewal. It's been around for quite some time. I believe it's a 5-year millage, and like I said, it's a huge asset to our department. So just want to fill everybody in on that, and we have no action items on the agenda this evening.
Thank you. And you have a presentation for
We do, yes.
everyone?
I'm just gonna over there. If you guys wanna grab the TV.
Turned on, or you need me to turn them on?
I think just wanna maybe pull that one. It was turned on earlier.
Yeah, can we turn the lights off?
I don't know if she heard you.
I think she's headed that way.
Tom said he's at a movie.
Somebody's got to hit that one.
So Township Board members, on February 8th, 2024, at approximately 2 p.m., Flint Township Police Officers Matthew Lashbrook, Jason Piercy, Chad Miller, and Sergeant Jerome Grzenko were directed to the 3000 block of Courts Isle in the Genesee Village apartment complex for a structure fire. The caller advised someone trapped inside and could not escape the fire. In the video, you will see the responding officers arrive and begin working to evacuate the first floor apartments. The building continues to fill with smoke, and the officers are wearing only cloth masks that were issued during the COVID pandemic. The body camera that you're watching is that of Officer Matthew Lashbrook. You will see the officers knocking on the doors of the apartments in an attempt to notify any residents still inside to immediately evacuate. You will also see the officers attempt to gain access to the second floor apartments, but were unable to do so due to the heavy smoke in the stairwell. You will also see Assistant Fire Chief Mark Rowley Jr. arrive with his fire equipment. From here, I could continue to narrate the situation, but I feel this body camera video will further illustrate this priority call for service.
Okay. Do you have a key that I can get in? Oh, thank you.
I've been knocking. It's heavy smoke up here where Grace is.
Oh my God, yeah, it's hot. Yeah. It's hot up there.
All right. Can you guys take care of everything down there?
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay. We're coming. Lay on the ground.
Come on, ma'am.
Lay on the ground. Only it's 16 buildings still occupied. Some can't get out. We're trying to work on it. Big firm upstairs to trap.
Hold this door. Get out, get out. 3 and 4. They're right here.
Get out, get out, get out. Just get out. One sec, hold this door. I'm just gonna get a wet cloth.
Get it, now go up.
Okay, they're in trapped up there. Yeah. No, there's 2 or 3 up there.
Hey, we got 2 trapped up there. Do it. This one's out.
They're dead.
Please.
You got it. Hey, Chad, do you want some?
Take it. It's already up. All right, so these are accounted for. 2 is accounted for, correct?
Just leave it open, I guess.
Leave them all open if they're.
Hey, Jason, if it's accounted for, just leave the door open. Hey, Chief. You good? .2816 Chief is upstairs asking for more fire upstairs. There's more trapped. He needs help. Chief, I'm with you. I'm right behind you. I'm with you. Oh, I got one on. .2816, do we have EMS?
So happy to report that she was taken to the hospital and has survived that incident.
Can you flip the 2 lights down on the left?
Matt, can you come?
No, turn up and then 2 down. There you go.
Well, if you get, I don't know if that'll work, the,
Oh,
I don't know if it works, the auto.
I don't know either.
This incident was reviewed by the Flint Township Police Department Awards Committee, and we unanimously agreed that the Medal of Distinguished Service was deserving for Officer Matthew Lashbrook. Matthew, I'd like to present you the Medal of Distinguished Service. In addition, Officer Lashbrook also serves our country as a member of the National Guard, and this was presented to him while he was deployed last month by the Hunter Club of Genesee, Shiawassee, and Lapeer counties. He has not had the opportunity to see this yet, so also, Officer Lashbrook, thank you for your service to this country. Thank you.
All right, and On behalf of the Flint Township Fire Department, just want to, I know, first off, we're very, very happy that the lady that was in that apartment fire is okay. But for the actions on February 8th, 2024, I want to present Assistant Chief Mark Morelli with a life-saving award from the Flint Township Fire Department. Along with that, a ribbon for his dress uniform, which is our life-saving award ribbon. And along with Officer Lashbrook, he was also awarded at the Hunter Club dinner with the same award there. So just want to say thank you to you both. You both did a great job on an incident, and without a doubt, saved the mark. So great work, John.
Did you get a picture of him? I don't want to get a picture. I got you in there too.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Just as a couple of quick notes on this incident, if I may. Just want to kind of touch on a few things here. The officers did a great job on the first floor. That smoke upstairs was thick. It was hot. Assistant Chief Rowley arrived on scene with the ladder truck there that you see. One person, the initial information that there was somebody trapped inside of that building was not given to the fire department off the dispatch. So much to his surprise, when he investigated that to be an apartment fire, the officer said, "Hey, by the way, there's somebody up there." So you can kind of see that look of, huh? On his face when he immediately went back to the truck, did exactly what his training was, got on the appropriate gear, brought the hose line in to have a way out, all of the right things in our business. And just want to say you did a great job getting up there, training, 100% paid off there, and I just want to say great job. So thank you. Just kind of want to touch on a few of those things.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Chiefs. We move on to number 8, Mr. Treasurer, payment of bills.
Resolution in front of all of you. Trustees should have received the copies of the invoices and the disbursements. We have invoices in the amount of $612,825.47. And through the board's purchasing policy, these have all been reviewed and authorized. In addition, we have tax distributions of $5,052.60 for a total outstanding bills and invoices and tax disbursements to be paid of $617,878.07. This will include a $40,624.54 payment to the Genesee County Drain Commission included within that.
So that's your motion?
Motion is to pay those bills.
Is there a second to the motion? Are there any questions or discussions?
I'm gonna vote no, because again, the attorney, I only get one sheet. I don't have exactly what the bill is for. I just have a total, so that's missing again. And that's invoice number
Give me that.
216214.
Can you repeat that?
It's coming on your way.
Any other questions for Mr. Treasurer? No? No further discussion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please, for the motion to pay the bills in the amount of $612,825.47, please.
Supervisor Miller.
Yes.
Treasurer Klee.
Yes.
Trustee Leverett.
Yes.
Trustee Burt.
No.
Trustee Fabdahl.
Yes.
And Trustee King.
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Are there any correspondence or informational items, Madam Clerk?
None.
Thank you. On to new business is action item A, the ordinance zoning amendment. PZC 23-003 VL east of Westminster. Tracy, did you want to speak on that at all?
So this was another first reading because they had some changes to it. And they're basically asking that you send it back for public hearing at the planning commission because they would like to change it from industrial to commercial, which in doing that, it's gonna need to go back and we'll have to do a public hearing again, so, because that's a larger change than just the conditions.
Would someone like to make a motion to move forward?
We would move to accept the recommendation, moving this forward to request the planning commission be advised of this on 8/8/24 for reconsideration due to the modifications offered this evening and previous to this evening's meeting.
Is there a second to that motion?
I second it.
Is there any questions or discussion?
I have some questions. So, how many times have you been back before the planning commission? Two. Two? So this will be number 3? And also you have had some of the board members take a tour of some sort or something? Okay, not everybody, but some of them, right?
Everyone's invited.
Pardon?
Everyone's been invited.
We would like to host one more, and invite one trustee.
Can you come to the podium so everyone can hear your answer, please? Thank you.
Yeah, sorry about that. We would like to invite one more trustee and one more planning member to attend a site visit as well. I think there was quite a bit of misinformation early on with some online residential boards. I mean, we started off this project having multiple town hall meetings, trying to engage the community as well as we could and be as good of neighbor as we could. Once I think somebody attends the location and sees the improvements and impacts that we can make to the existing yard and understanding the budget to do the new yard enables us to fix the issues that are at the existing yard as well. It speaks volumes, and once you see it, it's easy to see it needs to be done. It's a bad yard today. The new yard that we're adding on and trying to develop would give us the budget to repair it all. And
Talking about the one
repave
on
it.
Van Slyke, off of Van Slyke, right now?
Correct. Not the little corner lot that was developed by a competitor. Yep, that's somebody else. This is off Holiday Drive. Today they enter in off Holiday Drive there by Speedway. But yep, right back there.
It's still taking down all the trees to Maple Road.
It would be removing, yeah. It would be stripping all the trees. It would be stripping. Now, we would be replanting a perimeter of trees, and we wouldn't be stripping along that property line there that runs north-south, I believe. There's about 24 residents that have encroachments approximately 60 feet onto the land that I've purchased. One of my conditions, our conditions are to leave that intact and provide not just that greenscape for the residents, but an additional berm with additional trees planted on that. So not all of the trees will be removed, just the ones where the parking would be brought to.
I know in the beginning you said it was for GM and GM trucks, and then it wasn't. And you're gonna park something else, now it's back to being GM.
No,
That's been questioned a lot.
Yeah, it's only for General Motors trucks, but I don't work for General Motors and can't speak
Right.
directly on behalf of them. I think what Matthew said earlier today, their intent is to enter a long-term relationship with myself and my partner. The folks that manage that inventory can change from contract to contract, but I think the intent is to enter a long-term partnership with us. One of our conditions defined in the zoning request is that it would be General Motors new vehicles only as well.
Any other questions from anyone?
Thank you.
Any questions this way? While we have him here? No?
And just to clarify something from earlier, the petition was gathered by my partner and I, walking the neighborhood ourselves and physically talking to each resident. So anybody on that list would be able to verify that they did speak to either me or my partner that are in support.
People that are not in support of it also.
I'm sure there is, yeah.
And somehow
There
only
always
the
is.
list four
You can't
we
make
got.
them all happy.
I know, but there are 2 lists, but we only got 1, so I'm just saying.
You guys have ours. It's been emailed to all of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
And check your email.
Anything else?
No, I don't think there are any other questions for you. We have a motion on the floor to refer this back to the Planning Commission because of the changes in the conditions and the request to go from, rather than multiple family, zoning right now to industrial. They want to request of the planning commission to go from multiple family residential to commercial. That's what you said?
Residential to commercial.
Residential to commercial. So we have a motion on the floor. If there's no further discussion, all those in favor of referring this back to the planning commission for further review signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? We have all but trustee Vert, who's voted no. Great. Alrighty, we move on to action item B. Is a final read of the livestock ordinance. You have it before you. What? So, just to recap,
I'm looking, I'm like, what is it?
the township has, for a very long time, had an ordinance that did not allow livestock on any property less than 10 acres. Well, since COVID, we know a lot of people, and I'm not quite sure it's 500, but there's a lot of people who have chickens on their property because they wanted, with rate of inflation and stuff, they wanted to raise their chickens for eggs. So we've tried to do a few things at this table. We've tried to look at just defining the definition of livestock, because when we wrote notice of violations and eventually a ticket for a violation, it went to court, and the judge agreed with the person who received the ticket that chickens was not part of the livestock definition. So we tried to define that, and that went down. And we've tried to amend it with this amendment. And this amendment is allowing for chickens, 6 chickens, no roosters, per parcel. And you have to have at least an acre of land to be able to raise chickens. So I'm going to read this here. I just want to be clear with everyone. Article 10, livestock and chickens. A, no livestock shall be kept or maintained in any zoning district on parcels of land located within a proprietary or assessor's plat or on parcels of less than 10 acres in area, except that for each dwelling unit the occupant may keep for his personal use domestic pets, provided that they are not kept or used for commercial or breeding purposes and do not constitute a kennel. For purposes of this article, livestock means horses, stallion, colts, geldings, mares, sheep, rams, lambs, bulls, bullocks, steers, heifers, cows, calves, mules, jacks, jennets, burros, goats, kids, and swine, and fur-bearing animals being raised in captivity. All those require 10 acres of land. B of Article 10 says chickens may be owned, kept, and possessed within the township as a permitted, I didn't think, it says permitted, but I didn't think we were gonna do permitted.
No, that just means it's a permitted
They are
use.
permitted, just wanna
Permitted
make
use.
sure, I didn't read it correctly, within the township as permitted accessory use, subject to the following regulations. One is no more than 6 female chickens, hens, may be kept per parcel. 2, no male chickens, roosters may be kept. 3, chickens must be provided a covered shelter, which shall be located in the rear yard, as that term is defined in the township zoning ordinance. Number 4, all shelters for the keeping of hens shall be constructed, repaired, and maintained to prevent rats, mice, or other rodents from being harbored underneath or within the walls of the shelter. Number 5, the shelter shall be maintained in a sanitary manner free from offensive odors. Number 6, all feed and other items associated with the keeping of chickens shall be stored and secured in such a manner as to prevent access by mice, rats, and other rodents. Number 7, no person shall be permitted to slaughter chickens upon the property where chickens are kept. Number 8, shelters housing chickens must be kept a minimum of 10 feet from any property line and a minimum of 30 feet from any neighboring residential or commercial building. Number 9, chickens must be confined to a fenced area within the boundaries of the property on which they are kept and must not be allowed to roam, fly, or encroach upon neighboring parcels. Number 10, chickens may not be kept within a proprietary or assessor's plat or on parcels of less than 1 acre in area. And when we look at the definition of proprietary or assessor's plat, these are neighborhoods or lots. So the alternative is you have to be meets and bounds. So that's the amendment that is being proposed. This is the second reading, and we need a motion to move forward if we're going to approve or deny it. A motion is in order.
I'll make a motion to move forward and accept this.
The amendments?
Yes.
Is there a second to the motion?
Clee would second this.
All right, now, any questions or discussion?
So how much land do you have to have? What? Hello?
For livestock, you have to have 10 acres or more. For chickens, you have to have at least 1 acre, and it has to be a meets and bounds property. It cannot be in a neighborhood, proprietor or assessor's plat.
Last time it was 3 acres. I was here.
But we can't have input from the audience during this motion time. Thank you, though, Mr. Gibson. Thank you.
Does anybody here have chickens on the board?
No.
Or their families or anybody? Gonna
No, I do
get some
not,
3 eggs or whatever?
and I won't be.
Just asking. Just sitting there thinking out loud.
Are you questioning the 1 acre size? Do you,
I do, yeah. I mean, this should have been taken care of a long time ago. Every time I turn around, it's changed, it's changed, it's changed,
Originally,
it's
we were
changed.
supposed to just define livestock,
Mhm.
and now it's turned into a whole movie.
Right, and it's a
lot of
shame.
this was taken from Clayton Township, Burton City, and the city of Fenton. This-
I think Flushing Township, we got some input from there also.
Yeah.
Any,
I think we just need to allow folks, if this kind of cleans up a lot of it, we can put it to bed and walk away from it. I'm good. I buy my eggs at a grocery store, but if somebody wants to have eggs, I'm good with that as well. I'm good with this.
But Barb, you're not comfortable with the 1 acre, you feel it should be more?
No, I'm just, I don't know how we control it. That's the other thing. No, we've been told 500 people have them, right? Isn't that what was stated?
That's what Mark said.
And if they're in a subdivision, they all gotta go, right?
they do. If
So-
anyone in the township owns chickens and they live in a subdivision, they need to have them removed because they've never been permitted in a subdivision. And I know that's gonna be a lot of work. It's gonna mean tickets and going to court if people don't wanna comply with the ordinance. So it's always been illegal in neighborhoods. This applies to
Right.
meets and bounds property that's an acre of parcel or over.
So what do you do with the chickens that are going across the road and everything? You know, you drive them down wherever.
I don't know, I saw some at the
They have to
corner
be
at
fenced
Dye and
in?
Court.
You gotta put a fence up? I mean, I'm asking these because I really don't know. I wanna know, how do we take care of it, right? So we're gonna
People who have
force
the
somebody to put a
chickens
fence up,
should be
keep
putting
the chickens
fence
in
up
their
a
own yard.
coop.
Right, and so
Right,
the
there should
only,
be a coop.
the only thing I can tell you is that our code enforcers are gonna have to, if they see it or we receive a complaint, they'll be visiting the property and talking with the residents and letting them know what the rules are. And if they are not in compliance, they'll receive a notice of violation. Because we don't have a way to remove chickens. Mark's not chasing chickens.
Or Mark.
Yeah, poor Mark.
Uh,
Any,
I got another question. And if these chickens are seen out, how are we gonna identify who they belong to?
I have no idea. And our code enforcers don't have a way of confiscating a chicken roaming free.
Right.
We have to do that now, so it's not like it's
But it's-
anything new. The issue is, right now, they can't write the ticket because the court has said that our ordinance is insufficient. So those issues are still gonna be issues. I mean, usually you can tell where they came from because you'll see the coop, right,
Or other chickens.
or other chickens.
So are there any further discussion on the motion? Any further input? Is Is everyone comfortable with the 1 acre? Do we want to make a change to that at all?
I think you leave it at one, you start making it too many acres.
Alrighty.
You're just gonna start banning it almost altogether just by acreage.
All right, Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the motion to amend the ordinance for livestock and chickens.
Yep. Trustee Favdal.
Yes.
Trustee Leverett. Trustee Leverett.
Yes.
Trustee King.
Yes.
Trustee Burt.
No.
Supervisor Miller.
Yes.
Treasurer Clee.
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes.
The amendment passes.
Yes.
Thank you. Action item C, National Night Out Resolution. Chief Winkler?
I deferred to Tracy.
So, National Night Out, as the chief discussed earlier, is going to be on August 7th. Annually, we do close down the roadway in front of the police station and the park during this event so that the children are safe and people are safe getting in there. Also, I think the fire truck was in the road and they do the extraction with the jaws of life, right, in the roadway. So, we've been doing that for a few years. It's basically the same resolution that we've had year after year. We are required, though, to apply to Genesee County Road Commission, so that's what this is. It's the application and the resolution that they require so that we can go on to Oxcart and apply for the permit. Officer Chiza has, did the application online last year, and he'll do that again. Started coughing for no reason.
Yeah, a motion would be in order, please.
Motion to approve the bikes on the bricks.
No, National Night Out.
National Night Out. I'm ahead of myself.
Yeah.
Motion to approve National Night Out August the 7th for 2024 event as presented.
Support. Any further discussion? All those in favor of approving the resolution for National Night Out signify by saying aye. Aye. Those opposed? That's approved unanimously. Action item D, bikes on the bricks. Madam Clerk, the parade.
Same issue. They've done this in the past. This one is on September 7th, however, this year. And they are looking to get approval so that they can go, again, same thing, go on Oxcart to apply for a permit at the road commission. It usually starts at Harley Davidson.
Yes.
I'll make a motion to approve the bikes on the bricks application and resolution for September the 7th of 2024 as presented.
Is there a second to the motion?
I second.
Any further questions or discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the parade resolution and application signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those opposed? That's approved unanimously. Move on to action item E. Let me pull it up here. So if you'll recall, the fire assessment motion to move the issue to Public Safety Committee, the board approved to send it to the Public Safety Committee and come back with a recommendation from the Public Safety Committee. We had several meetings. We had a handful of people who participated. I want to say thank you for those who came and gave input. There wasn't a lot, even though we did open it up to anybody who wanted to participate. And the final recommendation from the Public Safety Committee was to propose a feasibility study for public safety services. They voted on to conduct a feasibility study with mission critical partners using ARPA grant funds. And let's see, let me just pull up some more. And the amount is not to exceed $75,000. And that's the recommendation from the Public Safety Committee.
I would like to make a motion to not do the public safety feasibility study and to not spend any money, ARPA dollars or otherwise, and to disband the Public Safety Committee.
So Greg, we don't take a negative motion, so would you like to do that in a positive way so that we can vote it down if that's what you want?
I would like to make a motion to not spend money on the public safety feasibility study
So you just say no on this.
and to say no on this.
No to the study, right?
No to the study.
No to the study.
All right. Is there a second to the motion not to do this feasibility study?
Yes.
So you're seconding the motion not to do the, okay. So we have a motion and a second. Are there any questions or discussion?
Well, probably there's been discussion before the meeting, but I do know that the study was first recommended by Chief Beckley months ago. That's what you requested. So I don't know what the change is, and I think we need the study. It's too far apart on what people want and what the department wants, and I think this is the only way to come to a consensus.
Back when we first proposed this study, there were members on this board who were totally against the study, were totally against the assessment, and wanted to do a millage. Now they want to do a study, kick the can down the road, and not even talk about a millage.
So the board, by majority, voted to send it to the Public Safety Committee. The Public Safety Committee has come back with a recommendation. The study that Chief Beckley proposed started out over $100,000, and we talked about asking them if they could come down. They took out EMS. They got down to, would you say, 82,000?
Somewhere there, yeah, 81, 82, 82,000.
We looked for some other estimates, because you couldn't just bring one to the board. We looked at several different organizations that did this, and in fact, a lot of them got out of the business of doing these feasibility studies since COVID. In fact, the people who did our consolidation study, when we looked at that in 2011 with Mundy Township and Swartz Creek, they are no longer in the business either. So the one study, the lowest cost of the study with what was the name of that? Public Safety Specialist Group was $44,000, I can't remember, $300. And then this was mid-range with Mission Critical Partners for not to exceed $75,000. So the Public Safety Committee has brought back the recommendation, and does anyone else have anything else to say on that?
Yep, there was a study done, you said, was it 11 years ago?
For consolidation, yes.
Consolidation. Was there any thing from that study that was applied to the township or that you could use to help? I mean, if not, it's like
Yes.
$75,000 could
Nope.
buy us a lot of different things.
That was a question raised by one of the Public Safety Committee members, and actually, we went through and we discussed some of the changes that were made. Chief Wangler and Chief Beckley made a report to the Public Safety Committee on the changes that were implemented. Some changes were implemented, some were not, and it was 12 years ago? 12 years ago. I think the final study was presented in 2012. So, yes, they made a presentation was it our last meeting?
I believe so, yes. Yep.
Yeah. They also looked at building department and assessing department, and we have made changes. We didn't make all the changes necessary, but we did implement a lot of the changes.
And
That
so-
was a good question.
Yeah, so the committee feels that by getting another study, doubling the price, seeing that we are kind of like.
So the
supposedly-
price for the,
Excuse me, because $75,000 could buy or could hire bodies, and that's what the fire needs.
For a year, yes.
I just can't imagine, for a year, but I just can't imagine spending $75,000 for a study that we just had 12 years ago.
The study was split by 3 communities.
I understand that.
So all 3 paid the same amount, I believe.
And the only thing we got from it was to implicate 2 things from the study.
No, I didn't say 2. There were several
Several.
things
So
that
it's
we
3.
implemented.
I believe that 75,000 is too much, and that instead of spending it on a study, we need to spend it on personnel for the fire department.
Well, you could do that, but you have a fireman that's being paid right now by ARPA funds, and that's gonna run out. We have a fire marshal that's with ARPA funds.
Right.
And 75,000
on
isn't
it.
gonna go that far. It won't go for a whole year. Am I correct?
That's correct.
And so, I'm gonna bring up who's been talking about the millage, because there was no plan for the assessment. And that was stated in the last safety committee meeting. It was a mistake. It wasn't a mistake, it was stupid. To go for 4 mills with no plan, and there's still no plan. And that's what happened at the last safety meeting. There's no plan.
Public Safety Committee? Who actually is on it?
I didn't say
Other than whoever
committee.
shows up?
There has been discussion, obviously, because Tom even said he was asked to do it.
Who's
And
actually
I don't
on it?
understand that.
On the
I
Public
don't know.
Safety Committee, it was formed in 2020.
Right. Oh,
Trustee
that, yeah.
Verb, Tom, treasurer now, but he was trustee then. Kevin McIntyre, controller, and Neil Seward.
So how did we
And
get
the
a
two
vote of people
chiefs.
who weren't even on the committee at the last meeting?
They were on the committee. And we opened it up to anybody who wanted to be on that. I was hoping that more residents would come. Anybody who wanted to come could come.
I think what Greg was saying, and some others have thought that as well, is the issue is the individuals that, or individuals of members of the said personnel, Public Safety Committee should have been, the listing should have been established. They're present. They should all be allowed to make a decision and vote. But I don't,
So if there's no further discussion, we can vote on the motion. Did you have something else to say?
Well, I was just gonna say, because didn't they want that, hurry up and get a meeting this month or something? I said, there's still discussion about a millage now. That's been in the talk. I don't know who, I'm not a part of that.
It was actually brought up at the Public
And
Safety
it
meeting.
was, and when I asked that, what was said? Whose meeting?
I asked you who you
If
thought
two
were
people
meeting.
We're gonna, we have a motion on the
ahead.
floor.
All right.
It's to, will you repeat the wording of your motion?
My wording is to no to spending money on a feasibility study.
you seconded that?
So motion is to not spend money on the feasibility study?
Spend money and do a feasibility study.
So voting yes agrees with the motion, voting no is against it. So, Madam Clerk, unless there's further discussion, I do not like negative motions. The motion is to not spend money on the feasibility study rather than moving forward. So please do the roll call on the motion to not spend money.
This is to support my motion.
So I still have some questions. So if we don't use use this feasibility study, how do we move forward to help out the departments that actually needs the assistance?
That was the point of the Public Safety Committee.
Which is,
Made the recommendation to do the feasibility study. And that was the motion that trustee Vert made when she said, let's stop the motion, the moving forward on the assessment and refer this to the Public Safety Committee and come back with a recommendation. That's what they've done. They made a recommendation to do the feasibility study, and now we're taking a motion not to do it. That's where it summarizes it.
and the chief is on that committee, and he did agree to the study?
Both chiefs voted on doing a feasibility study. They had a different opinion on which study to do. We gave everybody the option of which study they wanted to do. In the Public Safety Committee, I asked the chiefs to represent their department, and they voted on doing the study, and they each had a different opinion on which study.
Question down
Yes.
Well, I think that, I've been to all the meetings. I think that we shouldn't, because we're already in a situation to where there's a need for the dollars and cents. So I think the dollars and cents need to be allocated for some other, even the new hiring or something on that order.
And I think that that's your point too,
Right.
right, Manya? But the point is that it's 75,000, it will not pay for a full, officer, and it won't pay for any years beyond. I understand what you're saying.
We have to look at it, we have to look farther down the road to add to it.
There's been discussion as to how we could take care of it today, but it's not being taken.
So we are gonna vote on the motion Madam Clerk, roll call please on the motion to not spend money on the feasibility study.
Treasurer Clee?
No, excuse me.
Wait a
Excuse me.
second. If
Okay,
you
what you
vote,
saying no to?
No,
to.
I'm voting yes on the current motion. Sorry
Which
about that.
was-
And not spend money.
To not spend the money right now.
Okay, so Clee
Sorry about
says
that.
no.
that's a yes on the motion.
Yes, that's a yes.
Motion to approve.
Motion,
So that would
motion
be-
to not approve was his motion.
Motion to not approve, it's not as stated here. Okay, so Treasurer Clee, yes?
Yes.
Trustee Leverett?
Yes.
Supervisor Miller?
No.
Trustee Burt?
No.
Trustee Favdal?
Yes.
Trustee King?
Yes.
And Clerk Triplett, yes.
So the motion passes not to spend money on the feasibility study. I want to thank everyone who took the time to come to the Public Safety Committee and give their input. And that's that. We move on to action item F, the Cinema 10. We have estimates on the demolition of Cinema 10. Been working with the building department and with our attorney in contact with NAMDAR. Cinema 10 needs to be demolished. It has been stripped of valuable, whatever was in there that could be salvaged, and it's been burned down, or burned on the inside. And there hasn't been plans or communication from NAMDAR as to what they plan to do. We've reached out to them. We took them to court in June and got a default judgment on the demolition because they didn't show up. And the attorney's been in contact with them that the township board intends on demolishing that property and putting the bill on their taxes. And they did say, send the estimates, but we haven't heard from them since. I talked to the trustees back in June and bringing the request to spend the money for the demolition and having it placed on their tax bill so that they end up paying for it. And you have the estimates in front of you. A motion would be in order to move forward on approving the money for the demolition.
Clee would move to accept the resolution put forth to demolition Cinema 10 building with the work being performed by Burn Ash Wrecking at an estimated cost of $218,900 for building alone.
Is there a second to the motion?
I second it.
I'd just like something added into the resolution, that the cost would then be leaned on the winter tax bill, just so it does not get lost somewhere, to make sure that that money goes back to the winter tax.
It doesn't say that, but it is going to do that. So yes, I
Just like it added.
yep, I agree with that. So put that right in that second, and I will agree to that adjustment to the motion.
So just to be clear, this is the lowest estimate that we have with Burn Ash Wrecking. It's for building only. This does not include demolishing the parking lot. That's an additional that, I've asked a couple people their opinion, and I asked a commercial realtor, and they felt that there was more value in leaving that parking lot, and they can seal coat over it, so that could be a benefit to the new owner if they are able to sell it. And the price for the demolition of the building includes water and sewer cut and cap. It does not, however, cover the cost of a survey for asbestos, which could be somewhere between $3,000 and $5,000. I don't have that in front of me, but that's a different company, and we have to contact them. So we can add, that would be added also to the bill that's leaned to their tax bill. So are there any further questions? We have a motion in a second, or yes?
Motion in a second.
Any further discussion? Any questions on the motion? No? Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the motion to demolish Cinema 10 with the estimate from Burn Ash Wrecking in the amount of $218,900. That includes a permit for the sewer and water cut and cap. There will be an additional cost between $3,000 and $5,000 for the asbestos survey. And Trustee Fafdal's asking to make sure we include in the resolution that it will be leaned to their tax bill.
Supervisor Miller,
Yes.
Treasurer Clee,
Yes.
Trustee Burt,
Yes.
Trustee Favdaw,
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Trustee King,
Yes.
Trustee Leverett.
Yes.
Thank you.
So that's approved
Yes.
unanimously. We move on to action item G. Number one under personnel is election inspector wages. Madam Clerk?
So in the past, our election inspectors are the lowest paid, and we were losing some of our inspectors due to that. And so we asked for a increase in their wages for our election inspectors, our chair, our AV board, as well as our receiving board. I met with our election commission, and they also bring forth the same concerns. We were the lowest paid around, so we're asking for our election inspectors to have an increase, and I think they haven't had an increase, it was 10
Been a while.
or 12 years. So if I can.
Is that your motion?
Yes, it is.
Is there a second to the motion? Any questions or, for Madam Clerk, or any discussion on the motion? Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the recommendation for the wages of the election workers' compensation to increase.
Trustee Leverett,
Yes.
Treasurer Clee,
Yes.
Trustee Burt,
Yes.
Trustee King,
Yes.
Supervisor Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Favdaw,
Yes.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Thank you.
Number two, G2 under personnel, is the communication operators tentative agreement. We have Jill here from the ComOps. She represents the ComOps in negotiations. And it's my understanding that the ComOps have TA'd, correct? I mean, ratified, yeah? Great. So the personnel, or the negotiating team, that's Trustee Clee, me, and Controller Kevin McIntyre.
Treasurer.
Oh, I'm sorry, I apologize.
Problem.
Negotiated with the ComOps, and you have the tentative agreement before us. A motion is in order to approve it.
I'll make a motion to approve the tentative agreement with the communication operators.
Is there a second to the motion?
Second.
Any questions or discussion? No questions? Alrighty. Madam Clerk, roll call, please, on the motion to approve the tentative agreement with the communications operators as presented.
Clerk Triplett, yes. Trustee Burt,
Yes.
Trustee Leverett,
Yes.
Treasurer Clee,
Yes.
Supervisor Miller,
Yes.
Trustee Favdaw,
Yes.
and Trustee King.
Yes.
Thank you.
Number 12 is announcements. At our next meeting will be August 19th. And I wanted to mention that the auditors have finished the audit, and there should be an audit presentation at our next meeting. And as Chief Beckley reminded everybody that there is a fire equipment millage on the August ballot. It's a renewal. There's also a renewal for the road millage, which is a .5 mils, and it's been in place since 2006. That's on the August ballot also. So thank you for being here this evening, and we'll see you August 19th. Without any objection, we'll call the meeting adjourned.
Thank you for coming.
All right.